And welcome everyone to the weekly UTSA men's basketball media availability. We have with us UTSA second year head coach Austin Claunch uh, on this week's virtual press conference. The Roadrunners opened up the 25-26 season last week with a 1-1 record, and this week they go on the road to just up the street to Texas State and then get in the air for the first time this season, heading out to Denver on Saturday. Coach, could you get us started with a statement or a summary about last week's play and what you saw from the Roadrunners and what we have ahead of us this week?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Mike, 1-1. Probably played three pretty good halves of basketball, and then obviously the second half against SIUE defensively, we just didn't do enough. Obviously Wednesday, 40 minutes we basically dominated the game. Friday, again, SIUE is a really good team. I thought we had a good plan. I thought we played well. I mean, the first 17, 18 minutes of the game was a dogfight. We were really guarding. I think they scored 15 points in their first 19 possessions of the game in the first 12 minutes. We didn't play great offensively in that span, so our lead probably wasn't what it should have been, and then they made a run. I thought our zone offense killed us, which the second half, in the first half, we settled a little too much against the zone. In the second half, I thought we got it in there and then just made some costly turnovers trying to dribble, in the high post. But overall, I thought we did some. I thought we guarded well enough to win. If you go back and look, I think they were a little over a point per possession, 1.03 points per possession. That should be good enough to win at home. I've got to figure out, and we're looking at some things this week that, just to open the floor up a little bit more, get us some better looks. Because there's no excuse for us to score 60 points at home. It just can't happen. And I thought our guys, listen, we started three freshmen. We got a great young core. I'll be honest, I'm having a lot of fun coaching these guys. They play hard, they compete. So this team is going just to continue to get better and start playing better basketball. Now, we got to win while we do that. That's not an excuse for losing a home game or any game for that matter. But I thought, we're certainly a much better team than we were 10 days ago in our exhibition. And now we have a big game this week, two big games this week, but of course all of our focus right now is on Texas State. Huge rivalry game, a physical team, a tough team, very similar to SIUE. They're going to try to pound you on the glass. They're coming off a tough loss. They had a big lead over Tulane this weekend. Tough place to play, and Tulane obviously came back and won. But they, TJ does a great job. They're physical. They're going to guard you. They're going to rebound. So I think it'll be a similar plan defensively. I think offensively we got to, do a few more things to get our guys some better looks and manufacture some more points. So, but yeah, we're excited. And again, we're just going to keep pushing forward. Disappointed in Friday's result. But like I said, this is a team it's easy to coach. They play hard. They compete. And to be honest, guys, they should be an easy team to get behind, and they will be when we continue to push forward here.
Could you go ahead and get us started, JJ?
Austin, when you look back at that second half in your last game, what was missing defensively? What specifically do you think stood out there?
So if you watch in the first half, we had a plan. We wanted we have a small we have some really big front court guys, but honestly, when we're smaller in the front court, it actually really allows us to heat up the ball a little bit more. We were pressing ball screens farther out toward half court. Some people call it blitzing, hedging, whatever the case may be. We were pushing the ball away from the basket and ball screens. And so, yeah, and then that can lead to a few more offensive rebounds, but you're going to give up something somewhere. In the first half, we guarded really well. 34 points in 35 possessions, so they were under a point per possession. In the second half, I think if you go back and watch the first 4 minutes, we're not necessarily at the level of the ball screen. Our ball pressure is not as good, so the ball is getting downhill, and that's just not what we do. We want that ball pushed away, and sometimes that happens. We came out and we were scoring to start the second half too. We made some threes, we got some dunks, and now you've got to keep that mentality on that side, on the defensive side of the ball. We say it all the time. We want to play complementary basketball. And after about the first 18 minutes, we didn't do that so much. The first half they made a run, which they're going to. They're a good team. Huge play at the end. We get a steal. We miss a layup to cut it to 1. They come down, make a tough jumper to go up 5. That's a big play. But we come out in the second half. We're making shots. We're starting to get our offense going. But I think they scored 12 in the first 4 minutes of the half as well. So you think you're playing well, but then you look up and the score's not closing the gap because now you're not getting stopped. So again, I just think attention to detail in the ball screens, and that's kind of where it started. And then when that happened, then we were switching some things, and we don't love doing that as much. So I think just getting back to sound defense, and it usually starts in the ball screen and transition.
You mentioned complementary basketball. There were a few stretches in that second half where you went on some scoring droughts. What do you need to change specifically? What is it? Just finding the right score, putting the ball in the right guy's hand?
Well, first thing, the zone offense is just unacceptable. We've and they didn't do it a lot, but the possessions they did do it, we didn't. I thought second half was better. First half we were just. We didn't have the right plan. We went in a half. We made some changes. I thought we got the ball where we wanted to get it, and we had some turnovers. We threw it into the high post, and we're turning and dribbling. You can't do that against the zone. So now the rest of it, I think there was just, I wouldn't say that we were stagnant, but we were crowded. There was a little bit too much east-west. We got to figure out how to manufacture more north-south in our offensive possessions. And listen, we don't have we have good shooting, we have great passing. We don't have a ton of guys that their game has just come down and beat you off the deck. That's not what we have. So we do have to manufacture some cutting, some screening. And this is a really unselfish, good offensive group, a good passing group. So last night I thought we had a great practice. Thought we looked at some things that will really help this group, just opening the floor a little bit more for us. And so I just thought in that second half, a little bit too much east. Really, the whole game, a little bit too much east-west. We didn't turn it over, but we didn't have a lot of assists, neither. And so, and then now listen, we also. Shoot, JJ, how many layups did we miss? We got in there and sometimes we are getting in there. We got to finish. It's a team effort top to bottom, from the head coach all the way down to number 15 on the bench. We've all got to do our job a little bit better. I got to help us, get more consistent shots. But shoot, when we get down there, we got to finish layups. We got to make free throws. All of that. So obviously, it's a good SIUE team, but we certainly, I don't want to say, we shouldn't say we felt like we let one get away, because we didn't play well enough to beat a championship caliber program like them. But certainly, we feel, hey man, there's a lot of positives to take away if we can hone in on a few of these things defensively and just be more consistent. Then we're gonna go on the road and get a big win against Texas State.
Logan,
Coach,
your question.
Coach, headed into Wednesday, how do you plan on spacing out the floor and getting players downhill rather than just, east to west?
Well, guess you're just gonna have to watch the game, Logan. I don't want to. Well, listen, I think part of it is, first of all, we were able to manufacture some at the rims that we just didn't finish. So first and foremost, we got to get in the gym. We got to work these next 3 days off the pad and play through some contact and shoot it high and work on finishing. I do think that there's some just alignment things that we can help our guys with. When we're playing off misses, what does it look like? When we get scored on, what does it look like? And just harp in on spacing and cutting, and I think that's and then of course lineups, alignment lineups. Those are things that early on in the year you're trying to hash out. You're at the end of the day, you're probably gonna play 8 or 9 in a conference game, maybe 10 depending on fouls. And I didn't do a good job with we're probably not gonna play all of our bigs, all that every game. But I probably should have just let one of them play for the 8 minutes instead of I kind of tried I broke it up a little bit, and in hindsight, that wasn't smart. It doesn't give anyone a real chance to impact the game. So I've got to make a decision on, and it'll be game to game. With, are we going to be bigger? Are we going to play smaller and be more aggressive in ball screens? Are we going to switch more? And so again, early on in the year, you're working out all those kinks from a lineup standpoint. I do think there's a pretty clear alignment shift that we need to make offensively to, just spread the floor and open it a little bit more, and you'll see more of that Wednesday.
Has the absence of Ashawn played a big role in hindering how you planned on running the offense coming into the year?
I don't think not how we plan to run it. Of course, we know what Bashan's capable of. Excited to get him, in the fold here soon, and but not in how we play. No, I don't think so. Of course, he's someone that can create shots off of ball screens and get downhill and make plays. But I wouldn't say that has changed the way that we want to play. We're going to be who we are, and we do have, obviously Austin Pierce, other guys that are going to excel in ball screens, and of course that's a big part of Ashawn's game. And so when he's back, obviously that's just going to continue to help.
And then lastly, real quick, what is the status of Rashawn?
Yeah, day to day. I'll have more for you before Wednesday. But he'll be in a runner's uniform soon enough.
JJ, go ahead.
Austin, where are you at with the rotation of the guys? How do you feel like? What have you seen out of these first two games and the exhibition? And how close are you to where you want it to be?
Close-ish. I think there's some guys that are solidifying themselves, I should say, and just their consistency on both sides of the ball and how they work every single day. But it's also early. There's a lot. There's a lot in the balance. Some things are game by game as well. Like, if we want to drop more in ball screens, that allows us to play more of our super, our bigger players, dropping in a ball screen coverage. If we want to be more aggressive, we can go smaller with whether that's Bob or Caden or, Mateo, even at the 5 in certain games, because it allows us to pressure a little bit more. With the guards, oftentimes it's, we're deep at the guard position, and quite frankly, sometimes it's who can make their first couple, right? That just sort of is the reality. Now I've got to do a better job, like getting guys in more rhythm as we go, especially early on in the year, because we do have, I think there's, then you can start to look at different styles, right? Are we going to play more guards, and do we play less bigs? Do you play more bigs and less guards? There's different things, different ways to look at it. I do think this team, one thing I'll say, they're so coachable, and they want to get better. They want to win. So again, this has been they're such an easy group to coach and be around that it makes it easy for us to get up and come to work and bang it out every day. Film, practice, weights. So this team, we said it earlier. We're starting. We had 3 freshmen that were starting. We're playing a lot of guys with multiple years. This team is going to get hot, hopefully starting Wednesday. I'm really excited about this group as a whole. And I'm excited for UTSA to see it. I know we're still at the very beginning of basketball season. But man, this team, is really, I think, what building is all about. You got guys that love UTSA. They're unselfish. And now it's time for us and them, to turn it up a little bit, and now we got to produce some wins.
Austin, I know you're close with Derek Pittman. What did it mean to you to see them pull that championship out?
Oh man, just it's for as a friend. It's so cool when you know the work that guys put in. And I was there back. I think it was Corpus, right, when the first exhibition of the year, scrimmage, whatever you would call that. And just to know all the work that goes into the summer and everything that he puts into it, and how much he loves that team and UTSA. It's certainly inspiring, and it's from a program standpoint, it's inspiring because we're trying to build our program on a lot of the same things that he's built that program on: toughness, grit, competitiveness. But more importantly, to a friend. It's just awesome to see him have that success, and nobody deserves it more than him and those girls. They're an awesome team to watch. They're an easy team, to root for, and certainly excited to see where they end up going and continue to root for them for 90 more minutes.
Any other questions for Coach? All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today, and looking forward to 2 big games this week on the road. And we will be back with you next week. We'll verify exactly when we will have this availability heading into next week. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Birds up. See y'all.